Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this March 18th, 2023. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated, also being brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. As we head now into the second half of March, is there anything new? Well, the answer is yes and no, but really, the answer is mainly no, as we're going to see some of the similar patterns we've had so far this month continuing. That means, yes, even though we've got a short break in the weather this upcoming weekend, we are going to be looking at another round of rain and snow for California, the far west, the Great Basin states, the desert southwest, and portions of the Rockies next week and the week after. Now, we have not seen a lot of this stormy weather get out into the plains yet. That may change here over the next week or two, but certainly areas in the mountains and west of the divide, the west coast, the Pacific Northwest, there's more cold, wet weather coming. Now, temperatures have been much colder than average for March so far over a lot of the central and west. And really, the temperatures nationwide, coast to coast, are going to struggle, staying below average here for another week. Over the last 7 days, this is where the precipitation has fallen. This is a similar trend to what we saw last week, where there's a little bit of a snow shadow, rain shadow as well, east of the Rockies. So there's really not a lot happening in the plains. But as you get into the northern plains of the Great Lakes, then they had that big snow event here in New England. And then there's been all the heavy precipitation again for California and areas along and west of the divide. This area just continues to get bombarded by storms. And although there's a small break, this stormy pattern is going to return, and over the last 2 weeks, this is where the heavier snow has fallen. If you look at the snowpack numbers, they continue to be huge. The areas I'm outlining here, where they're the lighter blue or the darker blue areas here, the snowpack here has just been amazing, especially in the Colorado River Basin. Snowpacks in parts of Arizona over 400% of average. 800% of average in southwest New Mexico. Just an amazing amount of snowpack. And if we were to look where we were this fall with the most recent drought monitor, this is something that's encouraging. Now, we got a ways to go. We're not there yet, but this is what it looked like September 27th. This is what the drought monitor looks like now. So you can see there's a lot less red and darker brown. We still have islands and still pockets where we're still in a drought status, but we also have a lot more white. And look at California. At the beginning of the water season in California, a lot of the state, in fact, the entire state, under some type of drought status, with severe drought in the Central Valley areas of California. Look at where we are at the end of winter, heading into spring. Quite the remarkable turnaround in California, and there's more to come. This is what we see coming. This is by the end of the weekend. We've got high pressure giving us this current break in the weather pattern we have now. But up here in the Gulf of Alaska, up in the Aleutians, we have low pressure systems still queued up. There's one up here as well that comes south and east into the western United States. So by the end of the weekend and early next week, rain and snow along the west coast again. And then by Wednesday, a bigger push of low pressure comes into the Great Basin and west, bringing rain, snow, and colder weather. And then by next weekend, there's more. Look at that, 1, 2, 3 systems. So this will continue to bring wet weather to the west coast and into the Intermountain West. Question will be, will any of this stormy weather get along the Front Range and into the plains? I think eventually, maybe not with this pattern next week, but the week after, I think that possibility starts to get better. And over the next 10 days or so, the precipitation is pretty active, and you can see, once again, very significant amounts of moisture helping to build those snowpacks anymore. Maybe a little bit more in the way of rain and snow getting into the plains as well. Snowfall is very impressive as well over the next 7 days. Have yourself a good week ahead. See you next week.